Hey guys, it's lovely to have your company back here on my Crafter's Companion YouTube channel. I hope you are well, and as I am filming this one is going to be something brand new. Now this is going to be launching on Saturday the 26th of October, and that is our stained glass window acetate and nesting dies. I have the absolute pleasure of launching these ones, so I thought what I'm going to do is let's do a full in-depth demo. Now the demo I'm going to do in shorter form on Crafters TV when we launch these. Of course, if you're watching this after Saturday the 26th, then the build updates are kind of irrelevant, and you will find the product on the website stock dependent from Saturday onwards. If you're watching before Saturday the 26th of October, then of course this is kind of like a little bit of a preview as to what's going to be coming and launching. These are absolutely beautiful. These are so detailed. We talk about stained glass window effect, whether of course it's using your alcohol pens, whether of course it's using things such as your pearl liquids, your glitter glues, anything like that. Paper piecing, although that's not stained glass window, but using them to then paper piece or stained glass inside the fine detail of a die cut. This all done for you. There's no die cut and there's no nothing. It's beautiful designs when it comes to the incredible thick sturdy construction weight of the acetate. So the reason I'm going to do this is that a little bit of a time consuming demo. We're going to do a box with the actual stained glass window acetates, and as I say, when it comes to Crafters TV, we're going to speed up that process, but I know many will want to see it in full length, so therefore that's what we're going to be doing here. So before we dive in and we have a look at the actual stained glass window effects, thank you so much to those of course that still continue to subscribe to my Crafter's Companion YouTube channel. It is always an absolute pleasure. What we do strive to do, or what I strive to do, is 2 a week. Definitely not been following that strat as of late because it's been so crazy. Try and do one with our old craft boxes, one something else. At the moment we've been lacking in even just one a week because we've had birthday event and so much going over. I'm going to put a little pause just for the time being on the craft boxes. We'll restart that one again in January, and then that's something nice and fresh, something to look forward to recap back within the craft boxes. And then at least once a week, if not 2 a week, what we'll do is we'll do what we love to do, and that's look at old and then new and tie them together. This is all about new. We're also going to be using the alcohol effect papers that you may have got last week with Sarah and Ben, because they're absolutely divine and they work well together. So thank you so much for those that still subscribe. Thank you to those that give me the thumbs up, and for those of course that hit that bell notification. Right, that being said, let's dive in and let's have a look at the actual stained glass windows. Got 2 sets, 36 in each. In each one you've got 12 designs, you've got 3 of each. 1 set are circle, 1 set are square. Now I have been using mine, but you will still at least see 1 of each. I've not used both of each designs. They all come beautifully packaged. Stop any scratching. You do get tissue paper between them. I'm going to take them out as I am showing you, but let's dive in and let's have a look. Now these have a protective coating on the front, so you'll see that when I start to use them in a moment. But you've got your bumblebee, you've then got that beautiful moon, and that's going to capture a different coloured look depending on what colour card that you use them on. What we've also got, I'm going to keep these to the side because we could always use them elsewhere. So we've got, I think I said 2 of each, we've got 3 of each. We've got the hummingbird that we can see here, and then we've got, let's get these still relatively neat in order. What we've also then got is the parrot. I mean, how cool is the parrot? So if you've got things such as a tropical collection, that will work really well. And it just goes to show, there it is in mid-air, but then if you go flat against a bright surface, how beautiful does that look? So not only have we got the parrot, we have then got the kind of like the tree of life, so to speak. You've got that tree of life demonstration on Crafters TV. What I'm going to do with that one is use our hexagon nesting dies. We've then also got an owl. These are incredibly strong, all of these ones. I'm not sure if the weight's on the boxes, but I would certainly say around about 280 micron when it comes to these. So you've got the owl. We've also then got our flora, which looks a bit like a tulip. We've then also got our pair of kingfishers or lovebirds. Don't think it's lovebirds, but pair of kingfishers, let's say. We've then also got our sunflower and the bumblebee. We've then got, what else have we got? We've also got our floral with our floral heads. Then we've also got, this is just one set, this is just the circle set, which these are 4 inches in diameter. We've got the peacock within that one. So 12 designs within each box and 3 of each. And then we've got our additional, another like tree of life, but with the leaves flourishing all the way around. So that is your circle set. So I'm going to pop them back there because I'm not going to use the circles within this demonstration. We are going to be using one of the squares. So 36 sheets, 12 designs, 3 of each. And we've got more beautiful, beautiful florals. They'll be even more crystal clear once you take the protective backing off, which, as I say, we will show you just shortly. We're going to be using that one there. So that dragonfly we're going to be using. So I'm going to set that one to the side for now. We've then got our, is it a blue tit? No, I don't think it's a blue tit. I'm going to say blue tit, but I don't think it is. We've got him. We've got our beautiful, gorgeous seahorses. So let's go that way. So you got your seahorse, also 4x4. The 4x4 because they work with the largest nesting dies. So we've got a full sunflower. You can see there. So we'll bring that one in. And there's nothing stopping you from chopping these ones down. We can then frame them if you want to. We've got the hummingbird as well. We've then got the sizable bumblebee encapsulated within that circle stained glass window. We've also then got another beautiful, majestic peacock here. They're really kind of, not quite in full bloom, but seeing the peacock feathers. You've got your cardinal in here. The colours are so divine and they are so rich as well that when you sit them against something else colour wise, or maybe you're going to pop maybe lights to the back, they'll look exquisite. And then we've got another kind of like bumblebee. Is it bumblebee? He says as he knocks his juice over, or his iPad. They're like a beastie insect. Not good with my insects, but it does look a bit like a bee. And we've also got another tree. That one is in full bloom. And that is them all. That is all of the designs that you've got. So you've got your circles, you've got your squares within each box, you've got 12 designs, you've got 3 of each, which makes 36 in total within each box. So talking of box, that's exactly what we're going to do, which is a little bit time consuming, hence why I'm doing a tutorial. Let's also bring these in here. So these are what we're going to be using. So I'm going to zoom out here, and that is our alcohol effect paper pads. We've got the opals, and then we've also got our black pearl, which I am going to use the black pearl because it works so well with the colours, although the opal would work well as well. I mean, that would work, that one would work, actually maybe, let's have a look. They all pretty much would work. I think that one's shouting to be used, isn't it? That one there. There we go. I think that one's shouting to be used. Or is that one, because that's got the greens in it as well. I think it's that one, isn't it? Could be that one, but there's no green there. Right, let's go with this one. I think I'm at least going to need 2 sheets. So let's take out 2 sheets. And then what I'm going to do is let's take some black card. Because we're going to finish it. Finish the edges with some black card. Now I'm using A3 card because we're going to chop it down. And let me show you when it comes to the actual stained glass. So on the main right side, we're just going to go in. I'm just going to go in with our pokey tool. And then we're just going to prise up, peel off, and then we're going to discard that. So now we've got, I mean, how beautiful are the colours, the look, the reflection, the clarity. Phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to say that word a lot. Right, for the base, we're going to do, the box is going to be about 5 by 5. Do you know what? I'm not even showing you yet. Let's cut this while it's out, and then I'll show you the nesting dies. So let's take our card, and I'm going to cut this to 11 1/4 by 11 1/4. I'm going to take another bit of A3. Now I could cut this out of A4, but I just want to make sure that it's from the same batch of white card, so therefore it's going to be the same brightness. I'm going to cut that to 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. So the actual width of A4. 8 1/4 by 8 1/4, 11 1/4 by 11 1/4. So if I set them in front of me for now, won't spend much time on the nesting dies, but what we have got is we've got our hexagon, we've got our square, which we're going to be using, oval, rectangle, circle, and the octagon. And within these ones, you're going to be getting 14 in all, I think. So they're all 14 apart from the hexagon, which is 12. And they're all about 1/4 of an inch increments up to 4 inch. So the largest of all of them are 4 inches. So really versatile, plain edge, no deckled edge, no scalloped edge, no stitched edge, plain edge, and that's what I've been wanting, and we've got them. Right, so let's go back to our 11 1/4 by 11 1/4. I want to then score onto the base side of my scoreboard, this being my score master. What we're going to do is, to make it easier for myself, I'm going to turn it around, and then I'm scoring at the 3 inch mark. So we're going to come along and we're scoring at the 3 inch mark all the way round. So no, that's just totally jumped out. So let me cut that one again. I could turn it over and press out that indent, but you'll still see it slightly. So therefore, what I'm doing is I'm just going to cut it again. I can chop up that white card and use it another time. So let's do that again. 11 and a quarter by 11 and a quarter. Now a fair bit of this, I'm going to tell you, when it comes to the cuts and mats and layers, is going to be quite repetitive. So once we get into that repetitiveness, you're more than welcome to fast forward or skip. So let's try that one again. So we're going to go onto the base side of my scoreboard. I would be scoring at the 3-inch mark, but I find it hard to score upwards. So let's turn that one around, and then let's make sure we're in the 3-inch mark, which we are. And then we're going to score. We're going to turn, and then we're going to score, turn, score, and then last time, and then we're going to score. So this middle square should be just under 5 1/4 because it's on the base side. And then let's take our 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. We're now going to our box lid side, and I'm going to score at 1.5 inches. So 1.5, 1.5, all the way round at the 1.5 mark, like so. I'm going to fold and burnish all of these ones just now. I'm not going to chop the little V's out just yet. We'll do that at the end. And then what we'll need to do is, because we're going to cut into this, I want to make sure that I do that before we do any assembling. So let's burnish, excuse me, burnish, and then burnish, like so. So let's go back into this one. If I go quiet, I am just taking a break, taking a drink. And we're going to go into the square dies. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the largest one and we're going to cut out an aperture. We're then going to take the next two, which are going to frame the actual acetate. Now don't worry, it is going to cover a little bit of your image, but that's absolutely fine. So move that out the way, and then we're going to open this one up. I'm just going to take my tape and I'm going to centralize this the best I can. Don't worry if you're a little bit out, because this is about seeing inside. I'm going to go in with my plates, trying to use up my clear plates. Actual fact, I don't. I'm going to go in with my large plates. And because it's a simple die, I'm going to take out my magnetic shim, and I'm only using my frosted shim. Switch my Gemini on. I've not hooked the camera up into the front of the G2 because I'm just letting it run through. Simple die, so therefore it could cause the cracking sounds, which is absolutely normal. So if we take that out the way, and then that is it. Done. The aperture has been created. So set that out the way for now. I'm just going to continue to use these plates while they're out. Let's take my black card, and I'm going to cut that out. We are going to align them up and tape them over like so, because we don't want them to move. I'm going to do the same once again. I'm going to run that one through, not putting in the magnetic shim, does not need it. And that black frame is what's going to frame this. But also, what it's going to do is, actually I think I needed that other one, because that's going to go into there. And yes, no, I'm right enough. I've just not done a step yet, and that's right. Yep, that's going to frame that. Yep. Bear with me, I know what I'm doing. I thought I'd maybe done a step wrong there, but I've not. So this is when now we're going to come in with the alcohol. Now that on the lid is actually 5 1/4 inches. That's 5 1/4 inches. So let's take our guillotine, and we're going to cut this to 5 inches. So we're going to do 5 inches by 5. And then I'm going to do just a small black layer, so just over the 5 inch and no more. Which is going to give me nice thin matting layer. So if I come back in here, like so, and then what I'm going to do is when it comes to this die here, I'm going to use this smallest one, and I'm going to stick this together. Stick this together first. Let's take my glue. So we're going to go around the edges, but what I'm also going to do is make sure I give that a really, really nice coverage throughout the middle. And if you're kind of a little bit perplexed at the moment, you'll see why just shortly. So if I pop that back there and line up, bring my glue in because I'll need it. So just to recap, that is the largest die out the set. So that's the largest die, which happens to be 4 inches. Then I've taken the next two down and cut a black frame. And then out of those two, the smallest one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that into the middle. So let's get this as close to the centre as possible. And the reason we're doing this is so that once we overlap that there, we're going to be able to see right through. Now I'm going to attempt to cut those two layers without the magnetic shim. Let's try it without and see. If it doesn't cut, then we can recut it with a magnetic shim, or it doesn't, we can just go down with a craft knife. You're not going to see that edge because we're going to end up framing it with that. So if we bring this one in now, yeah, look at that, even. So that's 160 GSM and 300 GSM, and that has cut no problem at all without the magnetic shim. And then if we were to set that over, that means now you can see straight through the lid box. You can see that there. It's neat and it's tidy. And then that will be neatened up with that layer there. And if so that will in the end stick through there. But because we want it to be finished off, neat and tidy, that's going to go around that outer edge, and then we will be able to see through that lid. So, I've got a funny feeling I'm going to constantly be saying so bear with me on that one. Right, let's do all our mats and layers first. So I don't need this at the moment. So let's pop them back in. And these dies will always be on my craft desk. They'll never not be on my desk. Now here is 1.5 inches by 5 1/4. Yeah. 1.5 by 5 1/4, and that's the same all the way around. So let's come down 1/4 inch. So let's do, not that one, this one. So that's bang on 5 inches, so that's fine, because we're going from 5 1/4 down to 5 inches, so that's fine. And then we're going to go from 1.5 inches to 1 1/4, but I find it easier doing it this way. So I'm just going to trim here. So I'm going to go 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, going to go 3/4 inch, 1 inch, 1 1/4, and then cut. And then if I bring this in, that's going to fit perfectly all the way around. Yes, you can go 1 1/4. I have no issues doing it that way. But if you struggle a little bit, then it's easier. Go to the nearest 1/4 inch. So that's now 5 3/4. So let's go 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, 1 inch, 1 1/4. Cut. 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/4, 1, 1 1/4. Cut. And then 1, 1/2, 3/4, 1, 1 1/4. Cut. And then there are our other 4, like so. And then I'm going to give them a black matting layer, but I'm going to do it very, very fine. So I find it easier to glue it onto my black card and then trim afterwards. So let's maybe go in a little bit closer for this one. So is that going to fit? We'll get a couple out of this one, I think. So let's bring these in. So I'm going to use my glue. So this bit we're only doing 4, but when it comes to the base, this is when it's going to get a little bit repetitive once we're at the base. So that's when you might want to skip forward. So what I'm doing is I'm going to move that so it's a small matting layer at the left and also along the top. So that means I don't need to trim there and I don't need to trim there because it's already done. And then what I'm going to do, well, let's give that a light trim. Let's bring in our second one and we're going to do the same. Your tacky glue will be your friend for this because you can move it about. I would use the tacky glue because even the back of the alcohol effect papers are a pearlescent. So let's move that in and press that. So let's do these two for now. So let's go back to this first one. and little and often. So I'm just going to eye it and do little and often with my guillotine until I've got a nice thin black edge, and then the same here. So this is going to be about eyeballing. That's fine. And then if I bring this in, you'll see that they fit all the way around there. So there's one, and then there's another one. So little and often. You can use your craft knife and ruler if you want to, but if you feel as though you're a bit of a dab hand at your guillotine, you'll get the perfect cut. There's our second one. Let's move that one out the way here. And then let's bring that in. If I cut that too short, yep, I have, typical. So work our way around like so. So that one can go into that top corner. So if we just position that one into here, so we've got a nice thin black matte layer. You can of course use your gold because you've got your gold foiling throughout, but I do find that the black sets it off nicely. Although you'll not be surprised that Craig's using black because I use it quite often. So little slithers, little slither there, and then let's go in with this one, and then let's bring in a bit of black. I've got lots of offcuts of black card, but some of my black cards come from different packs, so the actual shade of the black might be differ ever so slightly, so I just want to make sure I'm doing all these from the same batch. So just into here like so. So that's going to be that one into there. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to do all the mats and layers for the box base, and then we're going to assemble it all at the same time. It's better doing it that way. Leave the exciting part to the end. And seeing it all come together. And this is the thing, I know I say this time and time again, but this is what a lot of you have said that you've loved, and that is that I do all of these in real time. I don't edit them. So if they take 20 minutes, they take 20 minutes. If they take 2 hours and 20 minutes, they take 2 hours and 20 minutes. And then you can then skip the bits that you want, any that's really repetitive, as to what we're away to do in a moment. So these are going to fit all the way around here and here. And then that's going to go into here, here, and then we'll be able to see through into the box. So that's what the box lid is going to be like once it's formed together. There we go. And then let's crack on with the box base. I'm going to move that out the way, that out the way, and now looking inside, I want a matting layer for inside the middle there. So we're going to do, so it's just under 5 1/4, because remember we've done this on the box base side, so it's not a true accurate size. So let's do let's cut our black matten layer. I'm kind of doing this backwards now. Let's do our black matten layer to 5 inches. So, not quite 5 inches, so let's do that there. There we go. So our black matten layer is 5 inches. And then our marble will do 4 3/4. Might need to trim it. Oh no, absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. And in actual fact, I could get away with doing a slither more. So we've got another thin black matten layer here, which will go into the middle as we look through in. Right. Then we are, I've got an itchy leg, excuse me while I scratch the back of my leg. So the outside is going to be the same length. So it's going to be the same length, but the width is going to be, so I want to say 2 3/4. So let's take that. So that is 4 3/4. And we're going to do 2 3/4. So let's have a look and see. Which is perfect. Absolutely perfect. I'm just doing a slight little trim. Yep, perfect all the way around. We'll do our black matten layer. So we need 2 3/4. 2 3/4 inches here. These are all little offcuts I can use on another project. Let's bring in our next one. So what did I say? 4 3/4. So 4 3/4 by 2 3/4 and 2 3/4. So that's my 4 for my outside. So that's going to be the decorative part for the outside. But what I want to do, to make it a lot more luxurious for whoever we're going to give it to, let's also do 4 for the inside. So once they're all matten layered, they'll be matten layered on the inside, and we'll also do another 4 for the outside. Because I like your white space matten layer, but I don't want any panels that are left white. And we're going to be looking into the box, so let's decorate the inside of the box. So I need another 4 3/4 by 2 3/4. So 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. And then again 4 3/4 by 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. So that should be all my layers, and this is, now you'll probably gather, this is where the what do you call it, repetitiveness now comes in. So let's take our black card, and we're going to do the same with what we did with the box lid panels. I'm going to go around with my glue and then we're going to go into a corner, leaving a thin black matting layer, and we're going to go into the corner and do the same right round the edges. Glue will spread right to the far edges and soak into the fibres. Oh, got an itchy nose now. So let's do the same. Up, in, move, wiggle into here. Now, is that going to fit one of them? I think so. Yep, it is. Let's press that down. So let's stick all of these on first. And then we can then trim them all. And this is why I'm doing this on my Crafter's Companion YouTube channel, because I really want to do this demo on Crafters TV, but I just wouldn't have the time to do it. I mean, there's 45 minutes already. So I have to speed it up. I've got a lot of the layers already cut that I can then assemble live on air. I thought, I know lots of you would like to see it done. When you see it on air, I know a lot of you would love to see how it's done from scratch. Hence why I thought, I know, I shall film it. There we go, there's that one. And then notice as well, to make it easier for myself, I'm going into 90-degree corners on my cardstock. Just visually, it makes it easier to trim the remaining two. And I'm guaranteed, as long as my card is straight, I'm guaranteed a straight matting layer. So let's go into our next one. You can use your tape runners if you want to. But the thing with the glue, not only is it a little bit quicker, but what it's also doing is drying into the fibres of the card. And I know that's something I say a lot, but it's true. It does. If it dries into the fibres of the card, it's going to make it a lot more sturdier, and it ain't going to fall to bits. And you don't want a box that's going to fall to bits. There's that one. Into that corner. Like so. Let's just have missed a bit there. And then will that go into there? Yep. So I'll get one straight edge, and I'll just need to trim the other three. Once that's all the main sticking down done, it's all about trimming next. Oh, I've got a right itchy nose, just on the inside. Fight, that means, doesn't it? Here we go. Right, we'll let that grab, and then we shall trim. Little and often. Little and often. There we go. And if I bring this in, hopefully, yep, fits just nicely, and will fit on all of them. Let's slither, 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 and slither. There we go. So we're just going to work all the way around them all. go. Because my card's straight and I've gone at 90-degree angles into the corners, makes it easier and straightforward to cut the other ones. There's that one. Slight slither. Go. Actually, just a teeny tiny bit at the top. That one, and then that one. There we go. And then 3 more to go. Okay, it didn't take quite as long as I thought it was going to take. I anticipated it to be a little bit longer. It's been fine. And although I've used the pattern papers, these could be other pattern papers. Imagine if you'd done this with the plaids, that would look lovely. If you'd done this with your own inky backgrounds. And we've got some beautiful colours launching very, very soon. And I say launching very soon, that is if you are watching this tutorial on the time frame as to when I'm posting it. So there we go. We've got all of our bits now. Hopefully. Yes, perfect. All aligned. And then we need to do what's going to be the inside. So work our way. So we're just going to go round the edge. Like so. This one we're going to pop into place. So I'm going to go into 90-degree corner again, and then I'm just going to trim there and then there. Do a little bit of trimming. There we go. That's that one. So let's assemble the base. Actually, one last thing. Because these are going to go all the way around there, and then on the outside, they're going to go on the outside. There's no point putting anything colourful on the base. You're not going to see it. That's just going to get scratched. But at least let's put something. So let's just do black. Piece of black. All adds to the stability as well. So let's go 5 by 5. That should be fine. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's fine. Absolutely fine. But maybe just a little bit too snug for 5-inch. So a few mils. Make it smaller. So remember, this piece here, this was 11 1/4 by 11 1/4, and I scored it 3-inch all the way around on the box base side. And then when it comes to the lid was 8 1/4 by 8 1/4, scored at 1.5 inches all the way around on the box lid side. And then we used the largest 4-inch square nesting die launching within the stained glass window show to create this aperture. So bring this in. So let's start to assemble. So we're going to assemble the outside. Now before we add the panels on the inside, what we'll have to do is we'll have to assemble the box, otherwise the glue tabs are going to be seen over the pattern paper. If you're not too sure what I mean by that, I'll show you in a second. So there's the base of the outside, and then let's do the base of the inside. So around the edge, like so. I think I must have a bit of glue or something clogged in the little tip because it's not flowing as smoothly. So that's going to go into the middle here. So that's going to be the inside. So let's flip it over onto what's going to be the outside, and let's layer these together. So we're just going to go round and layer these all the way round. And the way that I've sized them, you're still going to get that white mat and layer all the way round. If you don't like the white mats and layers, or the white layer that you see, you can always size these so it's a perfect fit. But you know what I'm like. I like to see white space all the way round. So there's that one. Let's just lift that, pop that down again. Size that in the middle. So I'm just going to hold and press that one for a second. Turn that around. So I'll do as much of the layering as possible before I come and construct. So add our glue. Add that into there. And just to make sure it's aligned, I'm just making sure it's running parallel against the edge. Bring in the next one. So this was the Alcohol Effect 12 by 12 opal paper pad that we used. So we used that one. There we go. Let's position that one in and then press that in. So just make sure that's all nice and flat, and then we can come in with the last one for the outer edge. So if we layer this around here, you know what I'm actually thinking, it's not going to be a perfect fit, and even then it might not work at all, and that is the rectangle nesting dies. It's just, do you know something? Oh, look at that. We could have, oh my gosh, we could have used the rectangle nesting dies. It would have given us a deeper black matte layer, but still, that doesn't matter. Still only going to be about 1/4 inch. Right, that's good to know. Right, so there is what's going to be the outside of our box. We need to cut our glue tabs. So let's cut down, and then let's cut in, cut down, and then cut in, and we're just going to repeat that for all steps, for all corners, and then cut that, and then cut that. Now, this is what I meant by we'll have to assemble it first, because if we put these in first of all and then attach it, we're going to cover them. So this is why we need to assemble the box base first and then add the decorative panels. So I'm going to add glue onto 2. And while that one's starting to go off and go tacky, we can hold that one into place. So we can hold that in. I'm going to turn it on its side and press, and then move that one in, align that one, and then press. So just hold that one down. To the edge, press right to the edge, and then I'm going to glue the 2. So that one will start to go off while we add glue onto this one, and that first one will start to go that little bit more tackier as the air gets to it and it starts to dry. So as we start to align and position that into place, that one will start to dry and go a little bit more tackier. So we can hold that in, and then let's bring that in. So let's move that back into here. Let's move that one into here. Press that in. So we're going to press. Let's go back to the one we've just done and press. So we've now got our box base all beautifully matte and layered, perfecto. I'm just going to add a little bit of glue into there, and then now what we can do is we can slot these in. So if I slot that one into here, and then we're just going to light. I know it's hard for you to see. I wonder if I do it this way. I'm doing it back to front here. But I'm just looking at this outer edge here and trying to align it. Is that straight? I think so. And then press that down. So if I press that down for a few moments, so we're just going to keep pressing, let that grab. What that also does is create a little bit extra depth and thickness, so it makes the lid that little bit more flush and snug. So if we go round, so I tend to go round the edges right close to the edges, and then just wiggle back in. Again. Try and wiggle that back. Like so. Line that up. And then press. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back this way. It's just easier for me to press in face on. And if you're using tape or tape runners for the outer edge, I would definitely recommend your tacky glue or all-purpose glue for the inside. Makes it a lot easier to position them in. So there is our third last. Now going to go in with our second last. And then that's going to be our box base done. Now you can make the box base deeper, and then you can do 4 panels of the acetate all the way around. Of course, you will need a lot bigger cardstock. So just align that the way that I can, and then I'm just pressing in. Pressing into my hands. Like so. Make sure it's nice and it's firm. There we go. Makes it really sturdy. Really sturdy. And then the last one for the base, go around the edge like so. And that can do exactly the same. Go right to the edge. And then press that one in. Got a slight, just notice that there, slight, ever so slight overhang. So I can chop that off in a moment, because that's just going to bug me. Although it'll not bug anyone else if I was to give this to someone, because obviously at the moment I've not made it with the intention to give it to anyone, I've just made it with the intention of demoing. So then there we go. We've got our outside. We can, of course, mat and layer that outside if you want. It's kind of feel as though I have to, eh? Oh, let's do it. I know we're not going to see the base, but let's do it. Got a little bit big enough. It would be a waste not to. So let's do it. But yeah, how pretty does that look? And then the lid is pretty much going to be exactly the same. The only difference is we're not doing the inside yet. Time for me to change my mind yet. Yeah, I think while we had that piece of alcohol effect paper there, screaming to be used. There we go. Look. Sturdy or what? Right, so if I come there just to let you see. So you got that strong sturdy box. So that's 300 GSM. So if we take just the side here, 300 GSM of the white, we've got 300 GSM on the black on one side, 160 GSM on the other side. Yep. And then onto the other side of the white card, you've got another 300 GSM black and another 160 printed paper. So what's that? That's 3, so it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, so what, wait a minute, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so that's, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so that's 900 GSM, 1,000, 1,000 and 1,100, 1,220 GSM, something like that. Anyway, strong and sturdy. So let's come back in with this one and let's bring these in and let's bring these in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that onto the back. But I'm going to use my red liner tape for this. Because this aperture is smaller than the acetate stained glass panel, it means it's going to frame it. You could make this a bit bigger and see the outer edges, but I just like that small, that snugness look. So if I take them off, and then that one off. What I'm then going to do, so it makes no odds, instead of going like that, because I can see it either way, I'm going to go like that, and I can line up from the back. Oh, look at that, it's grabbing, I didn't want it to. So if I go into there, hopefully, yeah, there we go, in the centre, which is nice, but it needs finished off. This is when our little frame, cute little dinky frame comes in. Let me just neaten that edge. Into, let me get, got my leg stuck. So we're going to go round the edge with our tacky glue. Work our way around. The translucity that you've got, but the colour that you've also got as well, is exceptional when it comes to the acetate panels. And it's nice, something completely different than colour toppers, which is a time and a place for them. I love them, I use them. Not a lot, but I do, or not as much as I used to, but I do. So it's just nice, something a little bit different. So we're just going to then snug them into place, maneuver them in. I mean, that could go in the front of a 5x5 card with an aperture if you want to. What we could do, and actually I think I am going to do it, is, what was that? So it's just over 5 inches. So let's cut this to 5x5. Just so that we can then hide some of that workings. So that's going to be a little bit smaller than that one. And if we come in with the square, and then if we take the largest square, and let's get this as close to the centre as possible. Let's tape that down layer up. Just means that when you take the lid off, although some of that's going to be covered, we're just not going to see that edge, just a little edge there. In actual fact, do we need to do this? Let me see. So let's align that roughly. No, there's no point doing that because you're not going to see it, because the back of the box lid covers it up. That'll be why I never done it originally with the layers that I've already cut for my demo on the weekend. Right, so let's position this into place. I'm going to add my tacky glue. All the way around. Let's position that into the centre. Make sure I've got that in. So we're going to move slot. And I'm just going to lift the sides just to make sure it's even, which it need to go up a little bit. I think that should be it. Into the box lid. There we go. Let's press all of that in with my drink. Excuse me. So let's take our panels and we're going to repeat what we've done with the box base, but this time with the box lid. These are going to go into here. Press and turn. Smaller panel, so it's not going to take as long to put the glue on. And if you're using a tape runner, without contradicting myself, as you guys know, our tape runners will absolutely work for a project like this. Work for construction. But I am old school when it comes to construction, and where possible, I use my tacky glue. I think lately, the only time I've not really used tacky glue for anything construction-wise was our star boxes. I used the red liner because there was a lot of bending, folding and shaping, so it worked best with your red liner tape. And certainly when you wanted the glue tabs to stick instantly, because it was a star shape, tacky glue was the best one. Right, so let's manoeuvre that down ever so slightly. Lift that one. That in, and you'll see then there's going to be the lid. Now let's cut our slots. I know some people cut these slightly differently, but the end result is exactly the same, so it's irrelevant how you cut these. It's just all about the forming of the box lid or base, depending what you're doing at the time. So let's pop our glue onto there, and our glue into there. We're going to then manoeuvre that in, form that together, and then we're going to pinch. Now while that's pinching, let's take a drink again. And then hold that one down. Like so. And then last two. And I think I need to pop something on the inside. I just have to. I can't leave it like that. So I've got two options. If I've got enough of the alcohol effect paper, I'll do a few mats and layers for the inside. If not, I'll just do black panels. We'll have a look in a moment. There's that one I've missed. Bit of glue there. Pinch that in. Pinch that in. Hold that. This is when I hope, because the demo that I'm going to do of this on Crafters TV, I've not got a finished one made. I've just done all the mats and layers. So this is when I hope my measurements work and the lid fits the base. Because this isn't tried and tested. This is thought, written, and fingers crossed. So then there is our box. Yeah, see, we'll have to do the inside, don't we? I think I might just have enough. Yeah, I've got enough. Let's do it. Right, what did I say? That was 1 1/4 by 5. Right, 1 1/4 by 5. So 1 1/4 by 5. I wonder actually. That's square. Oh, look at that. Yes, that's. There you go. There. So I'm not going to do matte and layer of printed paper here, but I'll leave that black and then it's just covering that white. It's just come to me there. Yes, that works a treat. Works a treat. So it's 5 by 1 1/4. Oh, am I going to have enough? 5 by 1 1/4. Oh, look at that. I'm just short. I am short ever so slightly. Or am I? What's that bit going to do? Do you know something? It's just under the 5-inch, but I'm going to use it. It's better to have something than nothing. Something than nothing. Yeah, because all of these are too short. And that one's not quite wide enough. He says. Actually, do you know what? Let's go with this one. It's better to have one that's slightly thinner, but the length is what we need. So yeah, so that's just under the 1 1/4, but at least the 5" is what we need. So let's move that out the way, and let's bring these in here. Let's any of these. So I can do that one, I can do that one. Nope. Right, let's bring in another bit of card. There we go, that'll do it. And then we're on the road to finishing. Yeah, there's no way I could have left those end bits and the inside of the box lid white. Just wouldn't let me do it. Screaming out, "Matt and layer me, Matt and layer me." And if you notice what I've just done there, don't leave the handle of the guillotine up and wave your hand about, otherwise you catch your knuckles like I've just done there. Although it's not the first time I've done it, probably won't be the last, never learn. So let's align that up, and then let's align that one. So that can go down into here, like so. And then the last one, let's bring this one in. Add the glue around the edge. And then we're going to go into that corner. There we go. There we go, there we go. And then let's start with the one that we just started first. And we're going back to what we've been doing, little and often. Little and often. A tiny little bit. Like so. So I need a little bit more, like there. And then so I just need a teeny tiny bit more. There we go. So last two, let's just roughly cut that. And there. All my mats and layers now, or most of them now, seem to be just tiny, tiny little slithers. I've not really done 1/4 inch mat and layers like I used to do as much now. There we go. So that's those last ones. So let's bring this in. So let's bring in that framework here. And then just going to add that all the way around, glue to the edge. Glue to the edge. And because it's tacky glue, it means that we can then wiggle that into the middle. Because it's the same square die, that largest die that we use to cut the aperture within the box lid, and then the aperture within this black card, it fits perfectly all the way round, as you can see here. There we go. It covers the inside. And then let's take in our glue. Getting through our glue today, that's for sure. And then we're doing what we've done with the box lid. Just going to then position that in. Forgive me for now, I know you can't really see anything, but I'm just aligning that up. Into here. Give myself the wiggle room with the wiggly glue. And go into this one. Around the edges. I think I done it back to front there though, didn't I? I'd done the wiggles first and then the edge. Into, same again, lined up. And press that in. And then we've got our second last one. Let's go into there. And then that'll have been us made this whole entire box, including all of the layers, in one. Just in case you don't want to see that. Another reason that you like seeing these in real time is so that if you want to, you can craft along with them. Because I've not skipped any steps, and you can absolutely do that. So let's align that one. And let's press that in to there, and then that it will be all done. I'm going to take. My voice has gone funny, it's just because I've got an itchy back. I'm scratching my back at the same time. Right. There we go. So we've got our lid. And we've got our base. And then we're going to go to the sentiment. So I'm going to go with one from the Birthday Dreams. I think even today is all about you. So if I take a bit of card, so this one I'd use the square nesting die, so it's got that little bit of a beveled edge. So that's why I'm just trimming that edge off. And then if I take my stamping platform, here I don't want to lose my bit for stencils. Take that off. And then we can pop that on there. Don't need our discs. That one can then go into place. So actually I don't know how much space I want, so let's give me space each side. And I'm going to use a black. Stuck. Turn it around. And then there we go. Today is all about you. Let's take that off. Take that off. Take that off. And I'm going to put that back on. Today is all about you. Let's cut that to start with at 1 1/4 inches. Leave a little gap. Leave a little gap. Now I might trim that a bit more, I'll wait and see, but here we go. Let's pop. Is that going to go? Looks like it's going to go. Oh, look at that. How fabulous is that? Now I wonder if one more layer inside. So let's take a bit of white card, because it's a bit dark, you're not really seeing the stained glass window. So it's at 5. If I bring that into there, so I've just cut that to 5 by 5 just now. There we go, you see it. You see it better now. So if I bring that in to here, let's, because obviously I don't want to waste that inside that I've done. Actually, I know what I'm going to do. I know I'm not finished yet. I know. Let's now take, yeah, because we want that white to show it off better. Now, of course, we could see it through like that, or if we put that in, we can see it. Actually, no, I'm not going to. What I was going to do, but I'm not now, because I like to be able to see that acetate from the other side. What I was going to do was put thick foam on a roll all the way around and stick that in. So then this is lifted up off the acetate, which lets you see the image clearer, and then you can still put things in it. But no, I prefer being able to see it from both sides. So what I'm going to do, let's trim that to 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. Yep. And then I'm just going to pop that into there. And then the lightness of the inside of the box, because of the white cardstock, is going to let the colours from that stained glass acetate shine through a lot better. So this bit, of course, could have done before we assembled, but hey ho, there we go, that's fine. Tacky glue means we can move it about. Right, there we go. So we've now got the inside with the white layer in there, and then the box and the lid, because we've got that extra thickness with the mats and layers, makes it nice and snug. And today is all about you. So let's trim that little bit thinner. into here. So it's a little bit thinner. Let's bring in our tacky glue. And that we're going to add our matting layer all the way around. Fine little matting layer. And then just while that's grabbing, let me take, now these of course aren't black, but let's go in with, actually do you know what I am? I'm going to stick with black. So I've got some petals left from the Dreamies, and there's black ones in there. So if I take a few of the small black ones, let's trim little and often. There we go. There's our sentiment, which can go down into there. Love it. Love, love, love it. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. So these are thin foam pads. So these are 1mm foam pad squares. And I'm running them through the left and right hand side so that the little indent of that black frame isn't caught within, and make it beveled and starts to bulge within the middle. Don't want that. So peel them off. And then get that where I need. There we go. And then let's do 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then let's do 1, 2, 3. Now those dark navy blue ones we have, they would still work if that's all that you've got. Because the layers are all black, I wanted to keep them black. There's that. That. Nudge them in. And then there we go. There is. And I'm inclined to put a couple around the edge, but I'm not going to. There we go. So we've got our box with our stained glass. And we've got, do you know what I'm going to do as well? Never ending, isn't it? Just so, actually, I'm not, let's not worry about that. So there we are. We've got our box for you to then finish and decorate more if you want. I'm not. I can keep going and going and going. So let's quit while we're ahead. It looks nice. We don't want to overkill. So there we go. Let's bring that back in for you to see. So we've got our box, which is 5 inches, and it's 3, so it's 5 by 5, and it's 3 inch in depth. So we've got the dragonfly with the stained glass window. You can see here. And then, of course, we've got all that decoration all the way around with our alcohol effect ink pads. Let's just nudge that back in. There we go. So if I go in here for you to see, get rid of the reflection of the light all the way around, and then let's come close up so you can see here. There we go. There we go. Absolutely beautiful. So 2 sets, square and circles, 36 in each. You've got 12 designs and then 3 of each. Okay. So a little bit of a time consuming one on that one there, but from start to end we've got that beautiful box there, and that's using the stained glass window acetate and the nesting dies that are going to be launching. Rightio, thank you so much for your company. Thank you so much for all the continuously lovely comments that you send, and until the next time, we'll see you again. Toodles.